Hi, it's Melanie. I'm a transitioning lady. I do content for people who are thinking about transitioning or are early on, or someone who knows someone like us. It's kind of a not great moment right now. I just got some news updates. I'm going to kind of skip the intro that I would normally do. Maybe not. I guess, hopefully helping someone not feel alone and that they can feel like other people are in this with them. So I can't even focus. I'm at work right now. I'm on break. I've been listening to music most of the night, and I put on something regarding trans rights just to listen to on YouTube. Someone that I watch on The Line. The Line is a YouTube channel. There are some pretty disturbing things that this person said. I kind of questioned whether or not they were true, but so far this has always been a reliable source. So I, of course, didn't take her word for it. I looked it up myself, and everything she said is true. I didn't know this, but as of January 20th, the Department of Homeland Security removed the protection from surveillance from the government for, they removed the protection that sexual orientation or gender association, so it used to be pre-January 20th that the government could not surveil me or you or anyone based on sexual orientation or what gender you are. I'm looking at, let me pull it up. I'm trying my best to actually reference exactly what it's talking about so I can quote sources. This is not an opinionated thing. This is actually real shit. So this is saying, I guess it was officially adopted in February 2025. So in February 2025, the DHS Office of Intelligence and Analysis updated its manual to remove sexual orientation and gender identity from the list of protected characteristics that cannot be the sole basis for intelligence activities. So what that's essentially saying is that whether any part of the LGBT blanket that you are in, Q plus, right, everything, that's now, that is reason enough for them to surveil me, as in I have no privacy on my phone or my devices. The other news that came in today, I don't know if it was today, but that I heard today, in light of the Charlie Kirk shooting, they are trying to use that to say that there was a conspiracy by trans people. Allegedly, the shooter had a trans person that he was associating with. I don't know if this is true. I have not looked that deep into it, and they don't know yet. The shooter isn't cooperating, so it's difficult to say any of that with certainty, but they are saying, they being the Trump administration, is saying that because he was associated with a trans person, romantically, that this was a trans conspiracy. And they're using that as the premise. Same with the gun law. They tried to take trans rights, and the NRA apparently advocated for us. Which personally, I think that guns should just be illegal. Period. Charlie Kirk would be alive if firearms were illegal. And I don't care if he had a fucking mounted machine gunner at his position. He still didn't see that coming. He wasn't able to see it. So no amount, he could have 11 guns on him at the moment that were all primed and ready to go. Former Marine, fucking people don't understand and appreciate the responsibility that comes with having one of those goddamn weapons. They are just made to take life. That is it. That is all they do. That is their only function. So even if Charlie Kirk had all of his, he was just strapped up, locked and loaded. He still has the exact same outcome. The guns don't solve that. So personally, I wish they would do away with the Second Amendment and just take them all. There's lots of countries that don't suffer from the fucking gun violence we do. And maybe we could justify then taking them away from the police, and we would stop registering in the thousands of the people that the police kill literally every year. So basically, they're about, like, whoever the foundation is that did, I'm going to quote my sources. Give me just a second while I look this up. I may be able to just go back a couple of pages. The Heritage Foundation, which is the ones who were behind Project 2025. Same one that made it legal for me to be surveilled just because I'm trans. Their new thing is that two anonymous national security officials said that the Bureau is discussing treating trans subjects as a subject of its new threat category, nihilistic violent extremists, or NVEs, which was, I guess, that was a term they created earlier this year. The Bureau defines nihilistic violent extremism as criminal conduct in furtherance of political, social, or religious goals that derive primarily from a hatred of society at large and a desire to bring its collapse by sowing indiscriminate chaos. So their definition of nihilistic violent extremism is the criminal conduct in further, that's the thing I just said. And they're about to put trans people in that boat. And it sounds like they're leaning toward putting anyone who fucking supports us in that book too. I'm growing boobs. I'm getting a cuter nose. What the fuck is your fucking problem? So, just a fair heads up to everyone on this fucking channel. Goddamn. I think the appropriate response is that everyone basically just resist it, but so far, the people that I have met that are Trumpers and actually talk to don't agree with his stances on trans people. They don't fucking care. They really don't. There's the people that do. There's the transphobes, but in my daily life, it just doesn't exist. Even people who don't think that I'm a woman, and they just think I'm biologically male, and that will never be different. They still don't treat me poorly most of the time. I'm friends with a few of them. It's just wild. That's wild. So regardless of what they end up finding out with the shooter, that's where this is going. I don't know quite, I already wanted out of the country because of the anti-trans shit going on. It's just a scary place for us to be right now. Let me close out this other... Well, I don't know if that's going to shut the video off. Maybe I won't. See if I can figure this out. I've got, one of the folds, so both sides of my screen work separately if I want them to, but I don't know if I'm able to keep this going while I switch it back to full screen mode. Okay, so my first take on this is that logistically and practically speaking, they are not just going to start rounding up a bunch of people because they don't have a fucking place for them. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they have structures that they're ready to devote to that. But I guess from what I've seen, the Trump administration is not very good at thinking ahead. They make plans without really having an idea of how to make that plan work. Like logistics. Where are you going to put all these people? How are we going to tariff the world, basically, and start a trade war under the guise of we're going to become a manufacturing hub when you don't have everything in place? Not only do you not have the manufacturing, sites, but you don't have the materials. You don't have proper logistics set up. Like, stuff has to get from point A to point B, including materials, including final product. You don't have the labor force. There's just so much that goes into that, just scratching the surface. So I don't think that this current administration is very thoughtful in how they go about doing things. I don't think that's their primary concern. Which, while scary, sure, what the fuck? So I don't think that this is going to be like, I'm not trying to fearmonger. The surveillance shit is true. They definitely can do that shit. But, like, man, a nihilistic, violent terrorist? Sure, I would consider myself a nihilist. I would. Violent or terrorist? What? I think we shouldn't have guns. Someone at work asked me today, like, wouldn't it be cool? You know what every workplace needs? They need an ability to have one day out of the year where you could just pick anyone at work you want, and you two get to fight. And if you don't get along with people, then probably a lot of people are going to be fighting you. We named one person in particular that we both, the first person that came to our mind is the bitch in the place. But my other answer was I wouldn't want to fight. I would decline to do that. I just don't want to do that. I'm a former Marine. I have no interest in fighting people. I don't want to fight people. I fucking just want to be, like, going about my business. I want to go to work. I want to come home. I want to spend time with my wife. Play a few chess games. I'm speechless. I don't know many trans, like, those of us that I know that are trans are fucking scared to commit crimes. We're fucking terrified already. I haven't looked at the numbers. I'm gonna see. Percent of crimes in America by trans people. Saying there's not reliable data. So this is saying that out of 27,000 people that were surveyed in 2015, that 2% had been arrested. And let's keep in mind that that's just a flat number. That doesn't actually say what's going on with that statistic. See how my hair gets fucking ruined, by the way, by the stupid goddamn visor? Aside from that, had to get that in. Now let's see. Total crimes in 2015 America. So 27,000 was the number. $9.2 million crimes. 1.2 million of them were violent. The math doesn't add up. If you take the number of trans people there are versus the number of crimes they're committing relative to other people, I'm going to do some more research on that and do a video on it soon. I just, like, man, it doesn't make any sense. Especially from, like, the oppressed group. We are afraid to commit crime. I am afraid when I see police officers. I already am afraid. I don't need more fear. I already know that they have it out for me. I'm, like, following traffic laws because they're more likely to fucking book me for some other shit that I didn't do, that they do constantly to minority groups. It's not like this is news. This is old, like, olds. Big time olds. I've never done a video from my car because I never really wanted to. But today I feel like I need to fucking get this out of my head. And I don't know that this is really going to do it. Honestly. I don't know that this really makes a difference. And my wife's on vacation. I'm so violent. All I want is a hug from my fucking wife. I'm so violent. I want a hug when I get upset and fucking cry. Oh no. I'm a terrorist for that. Unbelievable. I was one of those people that thought when Trump got elected that it was going to be a situation where there were enough people in the world, that there would be enough people in Congress that they would not allow him to do the shit. That was just how he was going to get in office, and then it was all just going to be chill. Nope. I was wrong. I didn't vote for that fucker. Not saying I voted for Kamala either, but I definitely didn't vote for him. Speechless. I was a fucking Marine. So, I'm willing to die for other people's rights, but not have them myself. I remember those friends of mine talking about how this was all hysteria, it's not real, it's not going to happen. They said the same thing about the immigrant situation, that it wasn't going to be extreme shit, they're just going to go after criminals. Well, here the fuck we are. And Washington's not doing fucking dick about it. They have not made it official that I'm a nihilistic, violent extremist. But that's what they're working on right now. Or they're discussing it. You tell me. I'm going to smoke some weed and get to work. I appreciate everybody. I hope that people loudly voice, not that I think it matters with this guy, but I hope people loudly voice opposition to this simply because we are fucking just being alive. I'm just living. I don't care. I don't care enough to vote. I don't agree with either side. I'm a socialist. I think everyone deserves health care. And people get so weird about that word. Like fucking the bus that people ride on Metro is fucking socialism in action. State healthcare is socialism in action. Social Security is socialism in action. It doesn't mean someone's a communist or a fucking Soviet. That is like fucking rhetoric from a long time ago. So I just don't feel represented in the country, to be honest. I really don't. So I don't vote. None of them represent my views. Not that my vote makes a fucking difference anyway. It literally doesn't make a difference. None of us could vote and the presidential election would still end the exact same way. It doesn't make a difference. And even in situations where the governor has the power to overturn the electoral college because the people voted one way and electoral voted the other way, majority people, the governor has the power to veto Congress and their electoral vote. They still don't fucking do that anyway. That happened last time Trump got elected. Or the first time, sorry. So, what fucking... I don't know. I really don't know what to do. I just want to fucking get out of here. I don't blame people for dodging signing up for a draft. I don't blame people for not wanting to go into the military. But goddamn, someone who wasn't willing to do their part to protect rights is gonna fucking take them away from someone who was. And I got kicked out for dating a fucking trans person. That's what I got kicked out for. In the first place. I didn't even fucking do anything wrong. It was honorable, which I had to fucking fight for. I didn't fucking do anything. Did I make mistakes in my life and commit crime? Sure, I did. So the fuck did everyone else. Even if my mistakes were a little bit higher. I learned from that. I don't commit those mistakes anymore. I do show love toward people that are shitty to me. I didn't report the people at work. I didn't go to HR. I never got them fired. They wanted me to write statements. They wanted me to push it, and I fucking didn't. What the fuck? The lady I was listening to said something, and I have like 1 minute left on break, so I have to go. But she said that it was interesting, and I have kind of the same opinion. I just like the way she worded it. That trans people oftentimes are willing to live and be next door neighbors with someone who doesn't agree with them. Who thinks that I'm not trans. I'm okay with my neighbor not believing that. I actually have one across the street. I know that he is anti-trans. I already know. But I don't persecute him. I don't have a problem living across the street from him. He has a problem living across the street with me. They are the ones being shitty, not me. Unbelievable. Anyway, I gotta go back to work. Thank you all for being here. I hope everyone is safe. I probably shouldn't say this, but fuck Trump.